Dirt roads to rock crawling, two-buck chuck to screaming eagle, moonshine to 50-year-old single malt. We talk about it all here on Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey with your hosts, Jason and Chris.
Welcome to the Wheeling Wine and Whiskey Podcast, episode 267. How you doing, Chris?
I am doing well. How are you, Jason?
It's muy caliente, senor.
Yeah.
We are having a heat wave here in the western U.S. Holy hell.
I know. It's been brutal, man. I work on a golf course, as you all know.
Do you? But you got irrigation. You got how many sprinkler heads do you have?
About 1,000.
A little over 1,000.
Give or take. And every one of them is running right now. I have been pumping so much water at night since this heat wave started, basically at the beginning of the month, or actually the last weekend of June, this thing started hitting, and it's just been, we've had a couple of days where it was 107, 108. I actually, driving home on this last Wednesday was 112 near my house, which is, I know there's people.
It wasn't 114?
No, it didn't quite make it to 114, but 112 is pretty freaking hot, man. I'll tell you that right
Anything
now.
over 100 is hot. I'm good to 100.
Yeah.
We're actually 98 right now. We were at 100 earlier, but at 98 now, and I've been working outside. I was up in my freaking attic like an idiot, but it was earlier this morning. But holy smokes, the nice breeze in the afternoon, and so it's tolerable. And now I got the AC going in the house, so that's good too. But holy smokes, it's summer. It's July.
Yeah, that's right. It's
just celebrated the 4th, so happy 4th of July to everybody.
That's right. Freedom.
I mean, you'll be hearing this a week later, so there you go.
Right.
A few days later.
That's right. 105 here in Livermore right now, and but yeah, it's supposed to cool off next week when you all hear this. Lots of activity, lots of stuff going on. Obviously, the last episode that we aired was with Bailey Cole and his crew chief Jack, who hails from Australia.
That was cool.
That was a cool episode. We had a lot of fun recording with them. That was done in the mobile studio, the Lance studio.
With the
Studio
AC
L.
cranking, and it was over 100 outside, too, for that.
I know. And we were just talking prior to recording that you tried to use your Honda generator to fire off the air conditioning on your Lance.
Did not work.
It was a no-fly zone. That's what was powering the AC on my camper, the Lance camper, when we were at the Stampede. I was happy that worked, because my onboard generator was not a happy camper. Still is not a happy camper.
Yeah, I got it running, but it won't stay running.
As soon as you loaded it up, it was she stalled, and I'm not sure what's going on there. It's
kind of like a Dodge when you try to load something in it and haul. It just
had to go there,
stalls.
Really?
Well,
really?
Every episode, try to get my Dodge jokes in.
Okay.
Giggity.
Anyway, so we had Bailey and Jack in the camper. We've had quite a few celebrities or racers or whatever you want to call it.
You need a little board or something that people can sign in there, or a wall.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe they could sign your bathroom wall, in a truck stop.
Oh, wow.
No, but you should have something. You should have something that's removable, right? So you put up a poster board or something that you could sign.
For sure.
Right on, because if you ever sell your camper, you're not going to want to rip a wall out of it to save that memento. So
the new buyer's like, what happened to this wall? We don't want to talk about that.
Nah, that's a podcast thing you wouldn't understand.
It was
cool. I love
Miles and Ian, and now Bailey, and of course Waylon Campbell, and
Waylon was in my camper.
That's right.
Yeah,
well, he set foot in mine for a moment.
Well, okay, there you go. So you could still sign something, but no, but the I was gonna say, it's very refreshing how down to earth Bailey is.
Oh,
right?
For sure.
I mean, he's done a lot in his short time on this earth. I don't know what his exact age is, but it's definitely way less than us.
Well, he's in his 20s.
Yeah, he's in his 20s, and he's accomplished a lot in his racing career now, and he's just happy, fun. I mean, fuck, he's living his best life, so why not? But
Absolutely.
I just love that there's zero arrogance, super cool, down to earth, easy to talk to. And then Jack was cool. We met him literally like the night before,
Right.
and chopped it up with him a little bit. And yeah, he was great. Boy, whole nother story in him as well. If you haven't listened to the episode, go listen to it. But he races in Australia, trophy
That's right.
tracks. So,
Oh my God.
and that's cool. And Bailey's gone over there and co-dogged for him. So, yeah, cool stuff. Cool.
And that, I mean,
stuff.
racing in Australia is a whole new animal or a different deal because I mean, it's you could literally, I mean, you can die anywhere, but I mean, you're in the way out back out there. It's very remote in a lot of parts of Australia because most of the population in Australia lives on the coast, but the interior is very very desolate and wide open and sparse.
Well, yeah, and if you break down, there's venomous everything out there that wants to kill you. So.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, they got spiders that live in door handles and shit.
Snakes, boxing kangaroos,
fucking crabs that walk on land crabs that walk through camp.
land crabs. Is that like
Of course, Charles will chime in and say, "No, those are strictly on some island or some whatever." But,
what is that? Is that like Saturday Night Live land shark?
yeah, right.
Candygram.
Oh shit! So
Okay.
our listeners not going to get a lot
Date
of that.
night. Oh, some of them will. We have a very astute group here that listens to this. It's cool. I'm surprised there was some racers I was talking to that I don't know why I'm surprised. Whatever. It's cool to know that they're listening too, and they're like, oh yeah, that episode on the, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's freaking awesome. I'm glad you guys are listening and up to date.
Well, I mean, it's like, patting ourselves on the back or tooting our own horn, whatever you want to call it. But ever since Wyatt, left the chat with the Talent Tank, which was an incredible, a very good show, and he touched bases with all the big names in the race world, and I really wish Wyatt would bring the show back. That'd be pretty awesome.
I still keep in touch with him on IG. We go back and forth on different stuff. He'll send me stuff. I send him stuff. So he's doing well, but he just said no mas with this, that organization. But yeah, he did a fantastic job. Of course, Big Rich was out there, last weekend for Ormhoff, the Off-Road Hall of Fame, right? And he has his podcast, Conversations with Big Rich, and he gets
right.
He similar, he has like a format and does this thing, and so it's cool. It's like we all got our own niche deal.
Well, everybody has their structured program, or us where we're kind of more shooting from the hip and
campfire talk.
So campfire talk. You never know which direction we're going to go.
What did you say? Raw dog in it?
Oh, mad dog in it, didn't I? Cannonball. So,
coming.
But yeah, you don't know which direction we're going, what squirrel trail we're going to follow, or rabbit trail, and
it's just conversations.
Absolutely. So, having said all that, we do have some business to conduct.
Yeah, let's go. We got some reviews or something.
We do.
I got a voicemail here.
Oh, great, fantastic.
All right,
what do you want to do first?
Let's go reviews first.
Okay, perfect. Let's do that. So we have three new reviews. Let me bring my other laptop over so I can read this a little better. All right.
Whiskey's good right now. It's nice and cold.
What are you drinking, Holmes?
Well, I was drinking the Frank August.
Oh.
I just poured just a real small sniglet, if you will, of Frank August, and now I just poured a little sniglet of Chat Whiskey Straight Bourbon 91.
Oh.
Just a little. I still got work to do. It's still daylight here.
Ian just checked into the chat.
He did. What? Chat Whiskey? Where?
Right? If we ever stream live, that'd be kind of fun to have people chime in.
Yeah, we got to figure that out. I got some ideas now that I've got a little more time on my hands to, I think we need to do a YouTube live edition and have some listeners join in.
Yeah, a la like the Snail Boys 500th or something like what they did, where you weren't available for that.
No,
when
I
they did
was off
the.
grid or something, but
I think you were on your cruise or something. I popped in for a few minutes and hung out. It was kind of a circus, but it was fun. So,
nice.
But yeah, those technology exists. We just need to make it happen. That'd be kind of fun, though.
Yeah.
All right. So
okay, reviews.
I'm not sure about the title of this first one, but it's a 5-star review from.
Okay, well, that's all that matters.
Lib530.
Live?
Lib, L-I-B,
Lib 530. Okay.
And
area code 530, maybe?
Yeah, probably. Anyway, it's titled Best Toyota Podcast Ever.
What?
I know, right?
Okay, wait a minute. That must be a typo.
I don't know. It doesn't look like it. It's well spelled. It's not. There's no typography.
Well spelled. It's spelled correctly. Okay.
It's spelled correctly. It's punctuated correctly. I don't know.
Okay.
All right, let's go. So, love the drunken banter between these guys. Cracks me up every time. Love all the stories, their whiskey recommendations, and the discussions about how superior Rams are. Fuck yeah.
Oh, this guy's really demented, or person, I should say. Not knowing if it's a he, him, or she, her, or how they identify. Okay, go on.
I really hope to run into you guys on the trail and help you fix or recover some Toyotas. Maybe even upright some Samurais. Love what you guys do. Thank you. See you on the trail. Woohoo! Well, thank you for the review, man. That's super awesome.
That's interesting.
If you haven't shouted out to Jason, we'll say it at the very end. But if you haven't shouted out to Jason yet, jump on the IG, DM Jason at Wheeling Wine Whiskey, and he'll be happy to send you a sticker.
I have. Yep, I sent out a few more stickers last week, so
fantastic.
Still keeping up with that duty.
Yeah, good.
He said duty.
Yeah, just let me know if you need any more money for stamps.
I do.
All right.
I do.
Here's the next review, and this is from somebody with the last name Herbert, Herbert. Sherbert. It's a 5-star review, of course, which we really appreciate. And it's titled, Played 18 Holes of Golf with Jason Today. Had too much fun. Jason living the life of Riley, man, playing golf and wheeling and goofing off all the time. Loving it. So he writes, got to hang out with him, and he is great. Really good at golf and has some good jokes. This podcast keeps me entertained when I need it. Highly recommend to listen for anyone. Woohoo! Well, thank you, Mr. Miles Herbert.
That is, that's great. My old roommate from college came into town here and stayed at the old Dave and Wally's Resort right across the way here. Anyways, super cool, and that's fun. We got to play some golf and hang out, and his kid's all grown up now and crazy.
Where'd you play?
Genoa Lakes.
Oh, nice.
So, you want to go down a rabbit trail right now?
That's what we do.
Well, okay. So, a little fun fact. I can't remember where the GCSANC show is, the golf course superintendent show that year. I want to say it was Florida. Anyways, the superintendent of Genoa Lakes at the time, and it was only one course, Jed was his name. Mm-hmm. I interviewed with him at the trade show. I was getting ready to graduate Cal Poly, and he offered me a job on the spot as assistant superintendent. And it was like my goal, my dream to live up, right here in the Sierras, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, oh my God, this is great. And so I said, okay, let me think about it, but I'm like 97% sure I'm going to take this job. He's like, okay, cool. And then I get home from the trade show and I get a call from Mike at Los Altos Country Club saying, hey, I want to interview you. And I'm like, I kind of got a job offer on the table right now. It's where I want to go. And, he's like, well, just come down here and interview with me. And I'm like, I got finals this week. He goes, you got finals every day? I'm like, well, Wednesday's free. He goes, well, hop on a plane and fly down and we'll pay for it. And so I'm like, okay, I can't pass that up. Well, long story short, I ended up taken the job at Los Altos.
Right. We all know.
But what would have happened if I took the job at Genoa, you know? I would have been living here way back when, and I don't know. You just never know where life takes you.
Nope. It's like you never know where the river's going, that's for sure.
It's just like a box of chocolates, man. You just never know.
You never know. Well, you're there now. So
anyways, that's a little fun fact.
Right.
So yeah, we played Genoa. It was fun. It was great. Should have been there. It was fun.
Yeah, no, I was at work. Okay, so again, thank you for the review. That's awesome. We have one more new review that we'd like to read. That I'd like to read. This one's titled. This is from I don't know Wheeling. This one's from I guess Whiskey and Wheeling is the name of the person that or the
Whiskey and Wheeling is the name.
Is the name of the handle for the person that wrote this.
I like him already.
It's a 5-star review titled "Great Podcast." And it's simple, right to the point. A great podcast. Listen in and enjoy. Boom. There it is.
Well, there you go. I like short and sweet. Short and sweet. I like that.
Yep.
All right. That's cool. We got some fans out there writing in. Thank you for taking the time. And yeah, I'm sending out stickers. I sent out stickers, and we'll continue doing that.
Absolutely. And if you like the show, tell a friend. Spread the word. Let's build the base.
Tell your kids, grandma, aunts, uncles.
Yeah, especially if your kids are into
that
the age
distant
of 8.
cousin that you really don't like, but maybe you have a conversation once a year around Christmas time.
That's right.
All right. Here's a voicemail. You ready?
Yeah, I don't know. Am I?
I don't know. Are you?
Did you pre-screen this?
Chris, Kevin, cool. Hey, I had to share this. Appreciate it. Something I heard today and I can't stop. Anyway, so typically if you're talking about something and you get a total brain fog and you're like, oh shit, what was I talking about? And whatever. I've always known it as a brain fart. Like, I got a brain fog. I got a brain fart. I can't forget what I'm talking about. The best thing I heard today is it's called a presidential moment. And that made my day. So anytime I have that, it's no longer a brain fart. It's a presidential moment. It's just forgot what you were talking about. So anyway, I thought I'd share that with you. You might get a kick out of it. How it going?
All right. That's Kevin Poole. That's awesome. Thanks for calling in, Kevin. And yeah, that's accurate. Presidential brain fog. Just call it a Biden brain fog. Call it what it is.
Yeah. Well, we're on the tail end or the back end of the presidential debate that occurred 2 weeks ago at this point when you're listening to this episode.
We were at Prairie City and I was watching it there. Yeah.
I watched it. I listened to some of it with you while we were there, but I also followed up later and watched more of it. And man, we're in a lot of trouble here. we're in a lot of trouble.
Well, we've been in a lot of trouble for the last. Are we going to get political?
No, we're not.
Oh, okay.
I've just made my statement. And that's it.
You're gonna get me going here. You better be careful. So we've been screwed for the last 3 3/4 years here, but hopefully that's going to change soon. I honestly just need somebody that understands freaking finances and business to run the freaking country right now, just like we needed 8 years ago. Right the ship, man. Just right the ship.
Well, we need somebody that can project strength. I don't feel like this country is projecting strength right now, and that's
no. And we are the strongest country, and just we need to. Yeah, it's freaking. It's a joke. It's literally a joke. And okay, I'm going to say one more thing. I'm happy to say that common sense has prevailed amongst some of my liberal friends that like even this current president is a joke. Regardless, Republican, Democrat, whatever, but it's just egg on our face as America, and we're just coming out of patriotic time here, 4th of July, but it's just, oh my God, just freaking get a clue. Let's right the ship. Right the fucking ship. Yeah. All right, that's as diplomatic as I could be right now.
I know, right? Well, we don't typically
You want to continue this talk after a few more bourbons? Because I could really go off.
No, we're not going to do that. Not on this show.
I have not one but 2 American flags flying on my property right now.
Jason has a new podcast called Political Talk. With Jason.
I do. Since you brought up the debate, I do love how, and it's totally ridiculous. It has zero bearing on why they even brought it up, but the handicaps are talking golf.
My God.
That was fucking hilarious. And then now the memes that are coming out, the golf memes, and watching Biden swing. I'm a 6 handicap. Oh my God, no fucking way. But it was so good.
What did Trump say? That's BS or something?
Oh, total BS. You were never a 6 handicap. Oh, so good. Anyways, okay, moving on.
Golfers, you have to be a committed golfer to make single digits in your handicap.
You do. Apparently, my handicap right now is 6.4, and I can't play to that. But I'm like a 9 handicap right now. But anyways. Oh, okay. Moving on.
Retirement's treating you well. So.
Well, yeah. I wish. What's not treating me well is there's no income. That really sucks.
Just sell some blood. You'll be fine.
Well, I was thinking of that. Plasma, blood, whatever. We can figure it out.
Be a sperm donor? I don't know.
There you go. That'd be great. Here. Oh, jeez.
Off the rails. Hey, this is Wheeling Wine and Whiskey.
Okay. All right. Holiday weekend. Hey, moving on.
Okay.
We got the voicemail. We got reviews. I do have, this is an important, now that we got everybody's attention, this is important. If you have a ham radio license, you are a licensed ham radio operator, which you should be, I highly recommend. Yes, the test is a pain in the ass. Yes, it's not easy, but it's doable. It's very doable. If you do a ham cram, and then there's also online stuff now. And I don't even...
You can take the test online.
You can take the test online now.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's super doable. But the license is only good for 10 years, right?
That's correct. Yeah, we're going to have to renew next year.
And so this came up in our four-wheel drive club, Esprit de Four. Somebody let their license lapse, and now they got to take the test over again because they didn't even realize. And so you can go on to the website ARRL.
Right.
So it's the Association for Amateur Radio. And you can put in your call sign because you're all registered if you're part of, the ham licensing there. And it will tell you when your license expires. And yeah, you're right. Chris and I got our license at the same time. We went and did a one-day ham cram in Hollister.
That's right.
And with 8 other club members or something, and all but I think 1 or 2 of us passed. But anyways, it's coming up next year. We got to renew, and it's simple to renew. You just got to go online and okay, renew. So I've got that in my calendar to renew because I don't want that to lapse. I don't want to have to take that test again. And so this is our little public service announcement for this podcast. Check your ham radio license if you think it's coming up on its 10 years and make sure you don't let it lapse.
Yeah, I think it's just a reasonable fee that I think it's like $30 or $40. Don't quote me on that, but there's a small fee for your renewal now. I believe it used to be free, but now I think they changed it a couple of years ago. And I know that Tyler can speak to that from Snail Boys. But,
really?
Because they had that whole shuffling when they were talking about the GSMR or GRMS or GMS, whatever the other GMRS, where there's a license fee for that got cut in half. And
well, yeah, I paid the $75. Now it's $35.
Right. I believe that
and you don't have to take a test.
You don't have to take a test. It's just a fee. But I think part of that also is that you have to pay for your ham radio license now, which is still a reasonable fee. And it's if you look at it over a period of 10 years, it's like whatever $3 or $5
nothing
a year or whatever. So.
Yeah, so ours expires in November next year.
That's right.
So we got to make sure that's in your phone to make sure you don't lapse.
And we know a lot of people don't. use the ham. They use the ham radios, and they don't have licenses. But like
illegal. That's illegal. Straight to jail. Straight to jail.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Straight to jail.
You really should.
You know that meme? Straight to jail.
That's right.
It's a Saturday Night Live skit.
But you really
going straight to jail.
Just get your license.
Drive a Toyota. Go straight to jail.
Wow. All right. Hey, do you want to talk about some racing?
Sure.
Racing.
Let's do it.
Sunday. Oh, wait. No, that racing was
not
on
one,
Friday
not two, but
Saturday.
7 fire-breathing nitrous alcohol motors. In Douglas County Fairgrounds. Come see it live.
Oh, boy.
See, I got the radio voice,
I have
man.
to put some echo on that next when
Echo.
I'll make it echo in post-production. I'll have to figure out how to make that happen. So yeah, as we said earlier in the show, that we spent the weekend at Prairie City for the Stampede, the Ultra4 Racing, which was freaking awesome. It was something I needed to do. It's on my yearly calendar.
It was hot.
It's always hot there, it's June in freaking Sacramento or just east of Sacramento, and it's hot. But the good news. Yes, it was hot, but there was a breeze that made it a little more bearable,
tolerable.
But I mean, we did see a couple people, that needed some medical attention in the stands.
Oh, geez, yeah.
They got dehydrated or heat stroke or heat exhaustion, whatever you want to call it. So obviously, a lot of fluids were flowing. Some had alcohol in them, but. Obviously water and Gatorade and anything that with electrolytes was important to keep yourself hydrated while we were spectating. And let's get into it because there was a lot of action, a lot of good stuff.
Oh my gosh, what a weekend!
I know. Jason and I arrived on Thursday afternoon.
And Eddie
and Andy
secured. Yeah, Eddie secured our site and our more importantly the Easy Up site for prime viewing.
Oh yeah, no, we scored. Well, other than that stupid tree, but
that's all right. We it's okay. We're not going to talk about the tree.
We're not going to talk about the tree. But yeah, there was a lot going on. A lot of top tier racers were there. A lot of teams showed up. The pits were packed full, and it was super cool to see people walking through the pits. We saw the Gomez brothers, of course, which they're a local team. And of course, Shannon Campbell was there.
For a short stint. Okay, wait, before you get it. So I came in on Thursday afternoon, and I'd been texting with Shannon and Jess, and I said, hey, love to get you guys on the podcast. And Jess is like, well, I'm not racing. I go, no, I just love to get you guys on the podcast. There's some good banter there, right?
Oh, for sure.
And okay, great. And I said, let's do it Friday. So Thursday, they were rolling in. It was Jess's birthday the day before, and they were at Madonna Inn down there in Central Cal, right there by, Kevin Jones' homestead there. And my old alma mater, Cal Poly. So the Madonna Inn's a cool place. If you haven't seen it or been to California, check it out.
It's the place with all the theme rooms, right?
It's got themed rooms, yeah, and it's pretty bizarre, but cool at the same time. They have the best public urinal in the United States. I will go that far to say. You're basically pissing into a waterfall in the men's room, and there's always women coming in there. Oh my God, I got to see the waterfall. Well, hey, we're taking care of business here. So there's a little fun fact of Madonna Inn in San Luis Obispo, California, which is just close there by San Luis, Pismo, Oceano Dunes. Used to be called Pismo Dunes. Now it's Oceano Dunes, but
Oceano Dunes SVRA.
Which the battle continues there. All right. So, anyways, so I roll in and I'm checking in and Pam Hall's there and she goes, oh my God, Jason. And I'm like, Pam. And then, freaking Shannon and Jess show up and steal the show here, Oh, hey, Shannon. And Shannon busts out with some homemade chocolate chip pecan cookies. Pecan? how do you say it?
Tomato.
Exactly. So anyways, and then everybody's like reaching into the Tupperware container, but then they're like resisting, like, are these cookies or are there special cookies? Like, is there anything going on here? And Shannon laughs and goes, no. They're totally fine. So we all had a good laugh about that. And they were damn good cookies, I might add. And then, Jess goes, yeah, he can, wrench on cars and cook. So there you go. Maybe that's why she married him. But good times. It was fun seeing them. And unfortunately, he had an oil pressure issue.
Yeah, something wrong with the motor.
That brand new big block's been giving him issues. And so he went out on track and lost oil pressure. So shut her down to save the engine and loaded it up and headed out.
Yeah.
I'm like, bye, Shannon. Just. So you talked to him.
Yeah, I was down at the trackside, and that was on Friday, and it was hot. So I'd been at trackside most of the day watching the qualifying.
Right.
And it was I got to the point where my skin was hot, and I knew something wasn't good.
My skin was hot.
I wasn't sweating. I knew that there was something wrong with me. I needed to get into air conditioning. So I grabbed my backpack, my cooler and whatever, and I started hiking back to camp. And obviously, as you walk up the hill from trackside, you can see into the pits. And I saw Shannon's car on a trailer on his, he has a Chevy truck and a trailer, and the car was sitting on it. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. So I kind of beelined into the pits, and Shannon was in the bed of the truck strapping down all of his camping gear. And I said, hey, what's up? And he's like, fucking motor, lost oil pressure. And, I just said, so you're not sticking around for the race? He's like, no, I want to get home and yank this motor and figure out what's going on with it. I'm like, oh, shit, man, we're supposed to record with these. Like, I know, I'm sorry about that, but I want to get back and get this stuff figured out because, season and stuff. And I'm like, oh, I get it. So, yeah, he shook my hand, and I said, well, have a safe trip home. And he loaded up, he and Jess, and they gone.
Damn it. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll catch them. I said, hey, we can record remote. So, love to get some more stories. It's so good.
Absolutely. So that was kind of a disappointment there, because obviously it's always fun to see Shannon on the track. I mean, the last 2 years ago when I was... Go ahead.
I wanted to see Shannon, Paul Wolf, of course, Wayland in the mix there too, and Lauren Healy just battle it out. You got some of the top five. And then let's not forget about Gomez Brothers. Okay, there's a couple more freaking WFO cards.
Gomez Brothers,
UFO cards, I should say.
UFO,
Yeah, UFO cars that, and so you got like 8 rigs that would just fucking, battle it out. And I'm sad that Shannon wasn't in that mix, because it was teed up to be a great one. It ended up great.
That's further down the story pipe. But
and Paul Wolf, and it's like, oh my God, guys.
It turned, I mean, the weekend was epic, and we'll get to that here shortly. We don't want to give away the freaking... Well,
people that were there or saw it on fucking YouTube.
I know, right? So anyway, we slid into that was, so Thursday night. We got into Friday and watched qualifying, a lot of great qualifying.
Yep.
The track was merciless, I mean, there's just between the heat, taking its toll on the drivers sitting in their safety equipment, and of course the cars aren't air conditioned or anything like that. So, but it was
so Goodby put together a great track. He had that gap jump.
Oh yeah,
right in front of us with rocks in between. So, and I'm looking at this gap jump, and I don't know what the distance was. I heard like 45, 50 feet or something.
That's probably a fair amount.
It was significant. It wasn't low. And I'm like, are these stock rigs going to be able to clear this,
Right.
And so we're out there on Friday, and they're doing practice, and then they're doing qualifying. And here comes, loving every minute of it, is his Instagram handle, Callan. and he drives a Suzuki Samurai in the stock class.
That's right.
And I'm like, oh my God, he's coming around. So he got coached. Him and Megan Miller got coached by Bailey Campbell. I'm sorry, Jesus criminy, Bailey Cole.
Right.
And goes, just send it. Just hammer down, send it. And they came out of that turn, and Cowan's like, wee, all the squirrels freaking screaming.
Yeah,
and he cleared the jump. He cleared the gap jump. And Megan was clearing it no problem in her Jeep with the brand new engine that Derek put together.
That's right.
So, oh my God. So it was cool. And everybody could clear it, but yet it was still intimidating enough that you gotta hammer down, and it made for good racing. And then there was an off camber right hand turn, 90-degree off camber right hand turn that
to go around the point there.
Yeah, people got a little squirrely there, but
that was the strategy, right? Because you needed to hammer down to make the gap jump, but then you didn't want to hammer down
the brakes hard.
Right, you didn't want to hammer down so much that you come off the jump too far in where you don't have braking distance. You needed to get on the binders to freaking make that turn.
Yeah, and then what was cool is they made went down a little straight and then made a hard hairpin horseshoe left turn, and then the track, like, it was a rhythm section with the whoops,
right?
And there was 2 lanes,
and they were offset.
Yeah, and they were offset. So they were offset whoops, and that was super cool to see that. So, anyways, I heard a lot of racers and stuff. John always puts on a good NorCal rock racing event. Sure. And he's the one that does the short course there at King of the Hammers. So he knows, this is not his first rodeo. He knows what the racers are looking for and gives them a good challenge and keeps them on their toes. And I thought that track was outstanding. And as a spectator and hearing from a lot of the racers, they really enjoyed it too. So that was cool.
Yeah, it was 1.5 miles course, and had some rock sections. It had some gunite sections. It had, like you just mentioned, the rhythm section.
Yeah,
some sharp turns that challenged and forced you to do some drifting, which was super fun to watch. I mean, I thought it was one of my favorite things was watching them make the go past the start finish line when they're coming around that 180-degree turn, full tilt. They weren't lifting. These guys
no, they were sideways
and getting lined up for the gap jump. I mean, it was that was super fun to watch.
That was impressive.
But the track, the course, the rock sections, these guys go into them full tilt and they're just tire killers. How many blowouts did we see just in that tire section straight across from us? You just hear it, I mean, super fun to watch, and a lot of carnage, whether it was rollovers or blown tires or did we have any fire? There was a fire.
Yeah, there was a little wheel caught on fire that was so damn hot it came off a car.
Oh, that was Paul Burschel's car.
Yeah, and then rolled into grass and started a fire.
That's right. Yeah, it was Johnny on the spot, right?
Yeah, the water truck. There was 4 water trucks because it was so hot, and they did an awesome job. I don't know how many laps they made around the track, but it was amazing how much water they were putting out on that track. And 4 or 5 laps later, there's dust flying. So it was drying out so quick. Very challenging to keep that track on that fine edge of not wet and muddy to not bone dry, dusty either. So it was crazy.
So yeah, obviously track conditions change from minute to minute, from class to class. But I thought they did a pretty good job between the graders, the bulldozer. What did that big bulldozer dragging that giant ass piece of timber around? What was that purpose? To just level the track or whatever?
I didn't see that.
You didn't see that?
I didn't see that.
I mean, it looked, well, that's not a very big board, but then you look, it's like a D9 bulldozer. So, it's pulling probably a 20,000 pound.
Interesting. Oh, I didn't see that. No.
Yeah, that was cool. And then, of course, the grader was going around,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, when you're at the racetrack, you get to see all the stuff that goes on between races and between sets, and of course, being able to walk up into the pits and talk to the drivers and the teams and whatnot. But obviously, Saturday was qualifying day. There was a lot of good action, a lot of carnage, a lot of people. I don't know what you saw as far as breakage and scrambling for parts and whatnot to keep their
Saturday. You mean Friday?
Friday was qualifying.
Yeah. You said Saturday, but yeah. So there was a lot going on, and always carnage on this short course, especially Prairie City. The rock sections are brutal, and a lot of these guys are sending it in 2-wheel drive. And just blasting through these rock sections that are 100 feet long or so, and it causes so much damage and tire killers. But so Friday, was there anything else Friday? Let's see. No, Friday was pretty mellow.
Well,
nothing crazy going on.
That afternoon after qualifying, we sat down with Bailey and Jack, but yeah.
Well, right. And then, unfortunately, Justin Hall had lost, I believe it was his rear diff, and he had to go get parts, rebuild it, and he was working on his car till 1, 2 in the morning. There was a few people working on their cars early into Saturday morning to make the main there. So Saturday morning started at 7:30, which was good. It was cool. It was cooler, I should say. It was like 70 something fucking degrees.
It heated up fast though.
Oh my God. As soon as that sun came up, it was like instantly hot. The nights were beautiful. It was awesome. But holy smokes, as soon as that red ball of fire in the sky rose up, yeah, you better have your sunscreen on or some sort of shade.
Oh my God, yeah, and Saturday was race day, and like Jason just mentioned, a lot of teams had brought their car, had to load their cars up and take them to others. Maybe a lot of these teams are local or relatively local, so some of them drove.
Or
back
there's
to
local shops that they can take them to, which
That's
is
correct.
Cool.
Local shops. They had, like you said, differentials or steering or bearings or rear ends. I mean. Drive shafts.
Megan Miller had a steering ram break off, so they had to get another steering ram, and they got that back together for the main. It's just racing, and that's reason number 1,273 why I don't race, because the carnage and the cost. It's like, oh my God, and my heart bleeds when I see these guys that are just, they've worked weeks, if not months, to get their car ready for this event, and then they race and something breaks, and then they got to work another 8-10 hours into the night to get it fixed and back on the track. But
and that's why I feel guilty, as a podcaster, a reporter, if you will, to some degree, walking into the pits during Q day or qualifying day, or even during the preliminaries. To they're scrambling, the teams are stressed out, and I know it's like, hey, how's it going? I don't feel good about interrupting their action, because they're stressed out, they're busy, and it's just like, let them do their thing, because they want to get out there and race.
Right.
They want to race.
No, exactly. But we gotta share their story, and a lot of them are super willing to tell their story. So, all right. So let's see, what else do I have in my notes here? Oh, I got to give a shout out to James from the Sierra Rock Crawlers. He's part of the pit team there, a 4854 car, and big supporter of the podcast here, friend of the podcast. So we exchanged some stickers and gave him a koozie, and
that's right.
Yeah, that was cool. So you saw him there on our trackside easy up. But yeah, went into their pits. They're fun. These guys do the 31 run on the Rubicon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you take your rock crawler or whatever you got, and you put 31-inch tall tires on it and go run the Rubicon.
Make small tires great again.
Exactly. Get you back to your roots. So that's awesome. I want to do it. I just have not I can get tires, no problem. It's just finding a wheel is the problem at 31.
Make
But
it
I
make it
gotta make that
31s and
happen.
disable your lockers.
Exactly. And then, well, I can't disable my lockers because they're spooled. So if I take the buggy. So,
Your buggy
anyways,
would look funny on 31. So
it'd be hilarious, wouldn't it?
that'd be
It's
funny.
so good.
So you just go ahead.
Go ahead.
These shout outs. I mean, it was a a lot of people were obviously there at the races, but we had James and Rhonda were there with us, and of course Ryan Agan was one of our listeners.
Yeah.
He caught up with me when I was walking through the pits, and
I'm sorry I didn't see him.
Yeah, no, we chatted a little bit, and we should have gone. I pointed him out to you where his camp, where he was camped, and what race he was working in the
pits.
In the pits of support for a team, and just a lot of people, and of course, some of the people that were trackside helping with recovery, and one of the people that I did not see was JD Wheeler. He with his green and yellow.
No,
Toyota.
the John Deere green.
Wasn't there this year. Wasn't there this year.
Yeah, probably busy that weekend.
Yeah, so it's just funny because he
did call in though.
He and I stood across from each other during the Sully Mun fundraiser at Prairie City back in April, and I was like, man, I got to catch up with him when we're at Stampede, and obviously that didn't happen. So
yeah.
So Kevin, sorry we didn't catch up with each other, but next time, So who else did I run into? We saw Ron Tuttle was there, and he was down near us camping.
Oh, he's camped by us with the Unimog. Yeah, that's always cool to see the pop-up camper on the back of the Unimog.
He was giving tours too. I mean,
he was. Well, he had his Easy Up set up, and I guess some of the Gomez team commandeered some of his shade, and they're like they're super down to earth and appreciative, and I don't know, they got to talking about the Unimog and they wanted to come see it, so they all came over. He was giving tours of the Unimog, and they hooked him up with some GBR swag.
That's cool.
So Gomez Brothers Racing there, yeah, always good. Justin Hall, so he was out there. This was the last race for his car that he built 6 years ago, I believe he said.
The Swan Song.
Yeah, and he did well. He qualified well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just and he put a new engine in that car a year ago or so, a little over a year ago. And
it's like a 400 plus cubic inch
freaking rocket ship, man. And Justin knows how to drive. You know, he's been doing this for a while. Not his first rodeo. So set some great lap times. Qualified well, and then the main race unfortunately did not go his way. It's open wheel racing.
Yep.
And short course, and open wheel racing, for those of you that don't follow closely, it's just not good, because if you tangle up with another car in open wheel, somebody's going to flip. Yeah, somebody's going to flip, and unfortunately right first lap of the main,
just past the rhythm section.
Oh my God, yeah. And he comes off this jump, and he was making a pass, and not the fault, the other driver came into him, but not like trying to take him out of the race. It's racing, it happens.
Mm-hmm.
And they tangled up a little bit, and he freaking did a hellacious barrel roll.
Oh yeah.
And totaled the car. Totaled his freaking car. I know it's the last race, but talking to him on Friday, he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to take the shocks off and put it on a, trail car. I'm going to take the engine and tranny and put it in the new car, and so parts and pieces were going to go here, and then the chassis was going to get retired." But it's just sad to see the car go out that way, because it was a dominating, car in his class.
Oh, absolutely.
And he built it from scratch, which, you just means even more. You take pride in that and appreciation when you got something you built and drove and qualified and did well and get trophies. And he's proven himself. So that was not a good ending for for his weekend there at Prairie
No,
City.
but the chassis did its job and protected him.
He did. So he was banged up a little bit. I'm like, dude, are you good? And then he responded back like a half an hour, 45 minutes away. Yeah, I think so. And then, the next morning I go, how you feeling? He goes, yeah, a little sore, as to be expected. But yeah. Did you die? No, he didn't die. So that was, thank God. He's got a new wife and kid, and yeah, he's got a lot to live for. So
well, he's full send, and
it's all a part of racing.
That's right. But obviously, but I guess reading up on it a little bit later is that he did some ratchet strapping and he was able to drive the car into the trailer.
Yeah, he got it back into the trailer.
3 wheels or whatever.
Ben axle. Yeah, and he broke a wheel. Earlier. One of those brand new Dirty Life wheels, the actual wheel cracked. Just the rocks are insane out there.
Dude, these cars, they launch. They literally hit the beginning of the rock gardens, and they launch the cars. And it's like, right. I mean, there's a shot that our good friend Andy Cardenas took of Megan coming out of one of the rock gardens, and she was nose up, like mission control, ready for launch.
She full sin mode. Yeah, that was cool. So lots going on. It's a great spectator race, as we said before, because you can see like 99% of the track from the viewing area, which is great. Wish they'd bring back, that track that we had here in Reno.
Oh, Wild West Motorsport Park.
Awesome.
Dude, we went there that was the beginning days, the early days of the show, when we interviewed Kevin Ultra4 Jones there.
We did.
And
that's right.
That was something that lit a fire in me going to Wild West Motorsport Park. I mean, first of all, you're super close to the Mustang Ranch, and keeping Lorenzo away from the ranch was tough. And, I mean, like you said, the venue's awesome. You can see 90+% of the track. From the grandstands. There. And obviously, as media, we were actually the first, early in the day, we were standing in an area that probably, I was standing there. I'm like, man, seems kind of dangerous. And I guess
behind the K rail out of that turn,
Out of that turn, we ended up. I guess they ended up restricting people from that section because there was a wreck. And I'm like,
that was before the days that they decided that Ultra 4 was a little dangerous.
A little dangerous, yeah. That was a race where Casey Shearer got wadded up pretty good.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was the end of his racing career. He hurt his back bad.
That's right.
Thank God he didn't. Yeah, it could have been a lot worse, but it ended his racing career. That was 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
All right.
So anyway, back to Prairie
Let's
City.
talk about results.
Absolutely.
And then we're going to talk about the 4400 race.
I do want to say real quick that some of the stuff that happens during qualifying and the wrecks or the rollovers, there's a lot of shit that happens during the preliminaries that happened early in the day on Saturday, and the cars that got damaged, and I'm like sitting there, I'm like, I don't think these cars are going to be racing in the final later. Like, let's use Paul Horschel as an example. I mean, that freaking car of his is an absolute beast. I mean, what is that, 1,100 horsepower or something like that is what they kept reporting on the miles kept saying. But I mean, he got wadded up at the first rock garden, and he lost he lost a tire. That's the one that started the fire.
Right.
And I guess it was the driver rear. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. His car is messed up. They got him out of the rock garden with the excavator, and then he got pulled out. And I was like, oh, the crane of shame is going over to pick him up and bring him in. Dude, he got into that car and he drove it with three fucking wheels and tires.
He just drug it into camp. Yeah. How great is that?
I was like, holy smokes, this guy's got chops, man, for real.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah.
So, okay, having said all that,
100%.
You miss if you don't go to the race, you miss out on a lot of that side action, which is fun to see. So let's talk results, like Jason just said.
Let's do it.
All right, so let's start out with the more stockish class and the mod class. I got the wrong mouse. I got too many computers going. All right, 4,500. So there were some pretty good turnouts for the different classes. The 4,500 class is the modified pro modified class. That's the class that Justin Hall runs in.
Correct.
Unfortunately, as we said earlier, Justin did not finish the race. He crashed. But we had a total of 6 contestants or 6 racers in that class. Fifth, so obviously did not finish, was Justin Hall. And then you had car 218, which is Dan Wyrick, came in 5th place.
Yeah.
And car 4532 is Steve Crawford, was in 4th place. And then you got car 4531, John Rance, 3rd place.
Rance.
And then Jesse Balter, car 4533 in 2nd place. And number 1, Logan Goodall, car number 1950, wins the 4,500 class for Prairie City in 2024.
Yeah, and Wyrick was running well, and he had a few issues too. But yeah, that's racing.
That's racing. So moving on.
Congrats, Goodall.
Yeah, absolutely. So moving on to the 4,600 class. This is the stock class, and there's a lot of action in that class. A lot of good action.
Oh yeah.
Obviously we have a lot of the Ford Bronco. Ford has a lot. Loves to race in that category. They're very successful with their Bronco platform.
Yeah, 2 of the 3 Broncos were out there.
Exactly.
Lavelle was not out there, but yeah, go on.
Go on. Well, there were a total of 10 entries in that class, and let's do the top 5. No, let's do the top 6 because we have somebody we like in there. Well, we like them all. But car number 3105, Megan Miller.
Yes.
Placed 6th place. That's pretty freaking awesome, Megan.
Yeah, with brand new motor. Motor.
Was that a stroker? It must have been a stroker.
Yeah. Yeah, and the old one was pretty tired, I guess, and Derek found a lot when he tore down, and then he rebuilt everything and built back better.
Hole in the side of the block you found?
No, stop it.
All right, and then in 5th place, car 431, John Rance again, racing in the stock class. And then you got Albert Contreras in car 4605 coming in 4th place. And then Brexton Glines, car 4689 in 3rd place. And then, of course, Lauren Healy, awesome in a Bronco. Car 2567 coming in 2nd place.
But Lauren wasn't driving that car. That was Von Gittin driving that car. It was
Von Gittin, that's right.
Yeah, he was driver on record. And that's where this thing gets all cloudy. But anyways, that's a whole nother fucking podcast right there. Go on.
Lauren was co-dogging for his kid in the 170 class. So
correct. But
there's a reason for that.
I understand, but go on.
All right, number 1, winner, podium boy. Woohoo, Bailey Cole. Cole.
I've heard of him before.
And we predicted
Bailey.
that.
Yeah, that's cool.
So he was pole sitter after qualifying.
Correct.
And he led the race the entire time.
That Bronco is, but what was, it's a stock engine transmission. I mean, but they do have the 74 weld portals on there, and everything's built up a little bit, but that's a stock engine transmission, and that's cool.
Well, it has to be stock axle, stock drive line. I mean, you can do. I guess the portals are allowed, obviously, but and it has to be stock suspension, or
right.
I guess they can stretch it up to 3 inches if I remember correctly. And then obviously you have all your safety equipment. But if you look in the cab of the vehicle, it's pretty stock actually. I mean, there's the kill switches and whatnot, but I mean, it still has the touch screen and all that stuff that comes from the factory when the car is built. So yeah, stock class is fun, and obviously listen to our previous episode 266, our interview with Bailey Cole and his crew chief Jack, and you get to hear all the details about the car and all the action going on for the race and the predictions that he made. And we all talked about, because we recorded after qualifying, so we knew he was pole position.
Yeah, Friday night.
And so obviously you did very well. Congratulations, Bailey. You certainly deserve it. So that's 4,600 stock class. And then moving on, we're not going to do any of the
48.
We're not doing the go-kart stuff. So.
Yeah, Paul Wolf. Okay, so let's go 4800.
4800.
Very competitive class.
Oh, it's hugely competitive. There were 20 cars in that class, and I'll tell you what,
that was fun to watch.
When they lit that candle for that race with 20 cars going off and competing to get to that gap jump right off the start finish line, that was exciting.
Yeah, it was great. That was super fun. It makes me giggle inside just watching that shit. I love it.
What's going to happen on the first turn after the gap jump?
Well, that's it. All right, what do we got for results here?
All right, so we'll do the top 5 again, and we've got car 4854. We got Luke Campman coming in.
Luke.
Wait a minute, that's not right. Sorry. Yeah, the top 5. So Joshua Baxey in car number 44.
Okay.
And then in 4th place, we had Chad Jesse with car number 747. And Jeremy.
They're local boys, right?
I believe
so.
Say
where they're from?
I don't know a whole lot about these guys. But, the 4800 class is super fun to watch because a lot of these cars are retired or legacy cars from the 4400 class. And, an interesting little thing, when Miles was announcing the requirements or the restrictions, if you will, for 4800, he mentioned that I guess they're allowing rear engines now.
Yeah,
I did not know that. That was new information.
That's been all over Rock Sports Insiders. Yeah, there's been a lot of talk of that.
So Jason is racing in 4800 class at King of the Hammers in 2025.
Yeah, don't hold your friggin' breath. Moving on.
No,
Next.
All right. So anyway, 3rd place you got Jeremy Brown in car number 50. And then in 2nd place, so these are the podium people. So we got Jacob Pacheco, car number 4812 in 2nd place. And then 1st place, car number 24, Cole Clark.
Yes, Cole Clark took the pole position. Well, I should say 1st place there, yes.
It's your 1st place. So that's super cool. Congratulations to all the people that raced and completed the race and podiumed in 4800 class.
I tell you, man, that is the most competitive class. I mean, 4400 aside, right? That's just crazy and expensive, and you better have $1 million to start out,
right?
To even run the damn thing. But it's like, oh my gosh, the 4800 has just become. It's supposed to be the everyman challenge, but there is. It's gone beyond that. I don't know. I've got mixed feelings, but it is absolute blast to watch as a spectator. There's a lot of competition in that class. So
there's a lot of competition, a lot of tech, But I mean, and some of these cars have insane horsepower. It's like
that's what I'm talking about.
I mean, it's the restrictions, on the shock package, and of course the DOT tires, 37-inch max DOT tires, but it doesn't seem like there's any restriction on the engine and the amount of power. I mean, some of these cars had twin turbos that were putting 1,000 horsepower down to the ground. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you see it when they're like I said, we mentioned earlier in the show about these cars coming around the start finish line, that 180-degree turn, and they're sideways. I mean, just digging. It was impressive to watch. And insane, and getting lined up for that gap jump, but watching them line up for the gap jump and then gun it, and then as they're on the actual upslope of the jump, and then you hear them kind of back off, and then right before they get to the end, they hit it, they blip the throttle, and then they clear the jump, and then they're back on the gas, and then of course the brakes almost instantly. So
right.
It's like they want to finish the jump with power, and then they have to get right on the brakes to make that hard right turn. Yeah. But but you've got 20 cars on the track, doing all this at the same time. It's chaos, but it's so fun to watch. Right. So that's 4800, and as Jason mentioned, super competitive class. And then the big dogs, the unlimited class, the 4400. So that was a little bit of a debacle And we want to get into some stuff here before we give the results. Obviously, there's the fans that follow racing. So that there was an incident that occurred right after the start of the race that created a situation where they had a red flag.
Red flag. Phil McGittin.
And he was hurt. I guess he got tangled up with one of the Gomez brothers, and he didn't have enough speed to get over the gap jump and augered in, if you will.
He cased it.
So he was injured, and I guess he ended up he pulled. I mean, right after he
immediately pulled off the track.
He pulled off the track right by the where the water trucks fill up, and the paramedics were there or whatever. But I guess he ended up breaking a couple of vertebrae, cracking some vertebrae.
Lower vertebrae, and was beat up a little bit. That was a hard hit. It was hard to watch. And it wasn't on the live feed. They didn't catch it on camera, but it was. I was right there, and just like, oh God! Immediately when he pulled off the track, I knew he was hurt. He was hurting, and that was Brian Croft's old car.
Wasn't
Campbell
that
chassis?
I thought that was Shannon's old car.
No, it's Brian Croft's old car. And he was a rookie last year at KOH, or this past year,
right.
I should say. Badass car, but he unfortunately was in a bad situation there.
Well, he didn't have enough speed to make the gap.
No, and he's going to be good, but. So what happens with that is there's paramedics there, right? There's an ambulance there.
Correct.
And ambulance needs to be on track during racing.
Correct.
Well, they had to transport him. So they transported him off the track, met up with another ambulance, transferred him so that ambulance can come back to the track. But in the meantime, from when they initially started green flag of the 4,400 race to when all this other stuff that we're going to talk about right now, and the race started again, was an hour.
It was easily an hour, yeah.
It was a long, long deal. So had to wait for the medical ambulance to come back. Okay, well, in the meantime...
Oh, the shenanigans with the tire
fucking Von Gittin goes into the pits the wrong way during a red flag and changes out a flat. And I'm like, what the F is going on here? And now, granted, we're up top watching this thing, and all the other racers are up there because this is the last race of the evening.
The racers are scattered. Yeah. The 4,400 cars are scattered all around the track because we don't know if we were on lap 2 or lap 3.
Right.
So, but when the red flag dropped and everybody stopped, and like you said, Von Gittin. Everybody was sitting, and Von Gittin was not too far. He was in front of the gap jump, just past the start-finish line. And he
close was to the pits.
Shut down. And then all of a sudden, he starts up and drives to the pits and gets a new tire. And like you said, we're all like, what?
So he gets back in line, and then, time passes. Officials come up and go, no, go put your flat back on. So he goes back to the pits and puts on his flat.
So I'm going to say right now, this is the first time I've ever seen somebody put a flat tire back on a car.
On twice.
Twice, that's right.
Not once, but twice. So I'm sitting there going, oh my God, this sucks. And then he gets back in line with a flat tire again. Okay, well then officials come up or whatever, and he heads back to the pits and puts on a good tire.
That's right.
And so does... JP Darian Gomez, I believe.
No, it was
goes back, and I'm like, okay. Somebody said, okay, we're going to restart the race. So, okay, well now I understand. If you're going to do a hard restart of the race, fine. Let's go back to square one. But that wasn't the case.
Well, and Gomez's tire wasn't just flat; it was shredded.
Oh, it was gone. But anyways. Regardless, it doesn't matter. It's a red fucking flag. You cannot move. You cannot change a tire. You cannot pass go. Do not go.
You cannot
do not collect $100.
You cannot work on the car, period.
No, that's it. So what the fuck? So I'm sitting here going, okay, as a spectator, an avid fucking Ultra 4 fan.
Right?
This is bullshit. This doesn't happen in NASCAR or any other racing.
Formula
Get
1,
your shit together. What the
happen.
fuck's going on? And and all the racers up there are just like, what the? This is ridiculous. Now, granted, we didn't know everything that was going on. We knew there was a medical on the first red flag. So let's fast forward. With that said.
So finally, everybody they figure shit out. They get the lineup going back. I guess it was they still had flat tires.
Single file.
So Von Gittin had a flat again, and JP or Darian or Raul, whoever it was, one of the Gomez brothers, had a flat. So everybody's back in line. They figure, and what's his name got left? He just what's his name left. He just left the track.
Brett Harrell. Okay, well, his spotter, they had a spotter stand up there, and his spotter, I guess, spouted off some stuff, and Brett got upset, because obviously it was frustrating. It was hot.
Absolutely.
And it wasn't handled to the best, and Goodby didn't have anything at least not a lot to do with it as far as I can understand here, because he was up in the stands with us and we're like, what's going on? He just shrugged his shoulders. I don't know. Yeah, he builds a track. He's not the race official. So right?
He started up and just left the track, and his
fucking took
left
off.
The track,
he was pissed.
So he gone. And we're like, okay, so they get everybody lined back up.
Single file.
And then he comes back. I guess they talked to him and said, we're doing a restart. And I guess they determined.
But it was 9 laps, so there was already one lap down.
Yeah, they determined it was going to be we're going to restart lap 1.
Mm-hmm.
And so then they find, so everybody's lined up. Paul Wolf is in first. You got Brett Harrell, I believe, is in second, or close to something like that. Or Lauren. Anyway, 1, 2, 3. They get everybody lined back up. And then all of a sudden the freaking green flag drops and people, it's a shit show. It's just a fucking dust everywhere. Nobody knows what the fuck's going on.
It wasn't communicated, and Paul Wolf on the second restart was in the front, single file. His engine wasn't even running when the green flag dropped.
Right.
So they didn't even communicate and say, okay, hey, we're track's clear, it's watered. We got medical here. All our ducks are in a row. We're going to start this race within a couple minutes. Fire your engines. Nope. He didn't get the memo, and fucking everybody right behind him wadded up, and then people started diving around him. Go 3/4 of the way around the track. Paul staggers off the track over to an official and goes, "What the fuck?"
Exactly.
And they red flag the race for the second time.
Second red flag.
So,
and we're in the stands going, what is going on?
And the live feed, if you were watching the live feed, obviously they didn't have the right or enough information. So it was a cluster. It was a clusterfuck. I don't care, how you put it. It was a clusterfuck. And then so get everybody back in line.
But wait, you get everybody back in line. But at this point, Von Gittin and the Gomez, they go get new tires.
Yeah, so they ended up with new tires.
But they started at the back of the line.
Yeah, so I think they gave him the option and said, look, you can put new tires on, but you're starting in the back. And they opted for that because Gomez didn't have a choice. His tire was non-existent.
Well, and he almost wadded up on the gap jump after the first restart.
I'm really... When Vaughn just headed into pit, I would really love to know the behind the scenes to know who told him, or did he just take liberty and go into the pits? I'd really like to know because I want to like the guy, but I don't like the guy from his actions, his behavior over the several races. And it sucks because Lauren's an outstanding driver in the Fun Haver team, and he's part of the Fun Haver team. But I just... Here's my opinion. He's just not
kind of a loose cannon.
Well, yeah, that's a good way to put it. A loose cannon. That's very diplomatic. So, talk to me offline, and I'll give more. But I think people are picking up where I'm going. I don't get the warm fuzzies from Vaughn getting.
Well, we don't know the whole story, as you
I
said.
don't, and that's why I'm prefacing this. But from what I've heard and what I know, and we talk to a lot of people, I just don't get the warm fuzzies in it. It pisses me off because Lauren has an outstanding race program, right? He went all in. He mortgaged his fucking house to start this deal. So I have mad respect for the guy. He can fucking drive, and he's got a rocket ship of a car.
Look,
so I respect all that, but this bullshit that went on, I'm like, what is up?
Well, the reality. So the situation here is, and this is, you can't argue it, and I'm sure people will. But when you're on a red flag, that's a red flag, and
I'll argue it. Yeah, I'm arguing it right now. That is bullshit.
You don't work on the car.
You don't move.
You don't fuel. You don't change tires. You do nothing. Now, obviously,
we all played red light, green light as kids. Red light, you don't move. You fucking stop.
That's right. Well, I mean, but obviously the spectators. We said the track is 1.5 miles, right? And there were 10 laps in the final for the 40 for all the final races. There were 10 laps, and they were making that lap in about 1.5 minutes. So the final race should have taken 15 minutes. It ended up taking close to 2 hours.
It's freaking ridiculous.
So
anyways, and it just sucks. It was just a snowball effect of shit that was going on. But race restarted. They had 9 laps to race.
And it was a grudge match.
Unfortunately, so Lauren took Paul Wolf in the rhythm section. There was 2 lanes there. And Lauren made a legit pass there and freaking hammered. But Paul Wolf was on his heels. And unfortunately, he made a little mistake. Paul made a little mistake. Had to back up. He spun out a little bit
at the
last rock section right before the start-finish line, and that cost him because he reeled Lauren back in.
He did.
Lauren was absolutely freaking just blazing.
Dude, he no mechanical sympathy whatsoever.
It was a great race, and Paul did full send on the last rock garden and almost got Lauren. Now, with that said, before the first red flag, which was a medical and totally understandable, Paul had a commanding lead and would have won the race had he not had any mechanical or made a driver error. He would have won the race, undoubtedly. Nobody could argue that he wouldn't have won that race. So it sucks. This is racing. This is what happens.
Well, Lauren spun out after right after the start finish. And
that's what I'm saying. But these restarts killed Paul. Paul should have had it. So it is what it is.
It is what it is. So as you know, Paul Wolf did not win the race. He came in second.
But he was right there. God, it was fun watching it when the actual racing started. But they did not lift. These drivers did not lift on any part of that track at all. With the gap jump, you heard him blip the throttle, but it was like full send the whole race. Yeah, for sure. So, without belaboring the point, it was great when they were racing. The hour waiting in between sucked. I know a lot of the drivers were frustrated. It was hot. They're in their full, Nomex freaking race suit, just sweating their balls off. But
they brought water to them, but that didn't really.
Yeah. Here's a bottle. Here's an 80-degree bottle of water, whatever. But it was, not Phil's fault. That was the first red flag, but. Fuck, shit just happens. It's racing. It's racing.
It's stories to tell, and hopefully
my takeaway of this is, Vaughn, why did you go fucking change your tire? Who told you can change the tire? Wasn't it official? Was it your spotter? And why'd you go in the pits the wrong way? And why'd you even move during a red flag?
Right.
Okay. That's number one.
That's egg on your face.
Number two, why? I understand why there wasn't a second, ambulance on. It's just super expensive. I get that delay.
Right.
Okay. But why was there the change the tire, not change the tire, change the tire, not change the tire? I don't understand that bullshit. It should have been cut and dry in my world, but again, we only see one side of it.
Dude,
I would love to hear the other side. If anybody fucking knows, please let us know. Call in, send an email, fucking let us know, because I want to know more. I want to understand what the reasoning was behind all this stuff.
Yeah. And that number is 408-800-5169, 408-800-5169. And, of course, Jason at wheelingwinewhiskey.com or Chris at wheelingwinewhiskey.com. We want to know.
Okay, so the end of the race, we know Lauren won. Paul Wolf came in second.
No, Paul Wolf did not come in second.
Oh, no, he didn't, because he fucking blew out his belt and lost steering in the last rock garden.
You should have heard the spectre. Come on, let's go.
Oh, fuck. He literally limp-dicked it across the fucking finish line. So who...
he is a fan favorite.
Carol.
No, JP.
JP. Okay, current king.
All right,
took second.
Let's go through the top five. Let's do this.
It was exciting. There was a lot going on.
So you got Cade Rod, number 5.
Yeah.
Brett Harrell, number 4.
Okay.
Paul Wolf, number 3.
There it is, 3. And then
JP Gomez, 2. And, of course, Lauren Healy, number 4.
Yes, that's right. Okay. Yeah, it was
those are the official results.
And, all right, there it is. Stampede done.
But, yeah, I mean, crazy racing, exciting racing, controversial racing. And, I mean, stuff I've never seen before. As I mentioned earlier, I've never seen somebody put a flat tire back on a car, not once, but twice. I mean, people in the stands, it was a large, man, I'll tell you what, the people.
It should have been taken off in the first place, but anyways.
Right. People, there's so many questions, so many people going, what is going on? Just craziness. So fun. I'm glad I didn't miss it, and I'm glad I got to share it with a bunch of good friends of mine. And that was, between King of the Hammers and getting to Prairie City at least once during the racing season. Those were my goals for the year, and I accomplished it.
It was a good show. Yeah, it was good to have you out there camping again, and a lot of people were happy to see you back out in action there. So,
I did get yelled at pulling into Prairie City. I came in a little hot coming up to Pan Hall. And they was like, "You're speeding!" It's like, what? It's like, I was so excited to be here.
Dodge, you can't speed.
Fuck. Of course I can. No problem. So, anyway, good times. If we saw you at Prairie City, I'm super happy we got to get together. I'm sure we missed a lot of people on the shout-outs. But, yeah, I mean, what's next, Jason?
What's next is 4th of July. Let's put a bow on the Stampede. It was a great race. But let's talk about 4th of July. American Independence here.
Woo-hoo.
Day.
Did you see fireworks?
Yeah. So I stayed local. I always stay local for 4th. I did go to Tahoe the last couple years, but I just
Tahoe's a shit show.
It's crazy. So. If you've got a home to go to that's along the lake, it's much better. But trying to fight for beach access, you got to get up at like 4:30 in the morning and stake out your spot and stuff. But I stayed here in the Carson Valley. It was awesome. Went to a barbecue. I worked on the house and did stuff around here working on shit, and then went to a barbecue and then hopped in the side-by-side and went up in the mountains right behind me, BOM, the golf cart, the douche coupe, right up behind my house here. And we got to see a spectacular fireworks show in Carson. And then, of course, there was various shows going on, some local and stuff. But, yeah, it was cool to go out and see these shows and, do some off-roading at the same time. And there was a bunch of people out there in the BOM. And then I got home around 11 o'clock back to the house and the side-by-side and said, hey, that was a damn good 4th. So how was your 4th?
I was asleep.
Oh, perfect.
So I'm not retired like some people I know, but
well, it was a holiday, for God's sake.
no, I work in the golf industry. It's hospitality, so we work every day, and I worked July 4th all day, and I worked all day today. So I was in bed by 8:30 last night, and I heard the fireworks going off a couple of times, but they did cancel. In Livermore, because it's been a brutal heat wave.
Yeah,
they canceled the official city fireworks, and but there were the neighborhoods all do their shit.
Right.
So I heard stuff going on, but I slept through most of it because I'm an old man, and that's just the way I operate now.
Okay,
so,
well there you go.
But I was up this morning at 3 a.m. and I was at work at 4. So there you go. That was my 4th.
Jesus. Okay. All right. Yeah. So, nice. And the Bay Area where I lived in San Jose, it was like Beirut, man. Just bombs going off for like 3 days before the 4th, 2 days after the 4th. And of course, the 4th was insane. Up here, it was just the 4th, and it was quiet and nice, and I like it. America.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I'd like to spend the 4th up in Minden one of these years. That'd be kind of fun. Maybe next year I can pull that off, but obviously this year didn't happen. So, but happy birthday, America, and
America,
fuck yeah. So
fuck yeah, America.
All sorts of good shit. So hopefully people will. God, we gotta get some of these people online and on the show that were at the Prairie City race. I want more information about what went down from some of the top dogs. I know we have connections. We'll get them on the show, and hopefully we'll be able to convey that information to our listeners, because I know inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
freaking
if you want to call in and share your 4th of July stories with us, I'm sure we'd love to relay them to our listeners. Call 408-800-5169. Leave a voice message. You can also email Jason or I, jason@wheelingwinewhiskey.com, or chris@wheelingwinewhiskey.com, and of course Lorenzo. Is Lorenzo dead?
No, he is here. He's chilling. He's enjoying the holiday. He's actually taken some time off.
Did he have his red, white, and blue donkey ass wear on or whatever?
Sure. Yes, he did. Yes, he was waving a flag yesterday, walking around the neighborhood. He's good. He's chilling, but he's gearing up. He was out there at Prairie City, but he didn't get out of the air-conditioned camper. He's become a little bit of a lightweight, as we know, and but he's doing all right. He's good. He might be venturing out with me this weekend. We'll see.
All right. So Lorenzo at wheelingwinewhiskey.com. You can also look us up on the Instagram, which is at wheelingwinewhiskey. And hey, if you like the show, like we said earlier, spread the word, tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell whoever. Hey, you ever hear about the show Wheeling Wine and Whiskey? These guys are crazy, and they drink and get drunk on the show and talk about stupid shit. So
yes.
Also, if you haven't signed up for Sierra Trek, do it. Cal 4.
Do it.
Do it.
Hey, I heard they're going to do whiskey tasting there.
Really?
Rumor on the street. Yeah, they're going to do a little whiskey tasting. So
I'm down.
Always a great event, great venue, spectacular views, and being there at Meadow Lake. But I hear they're going to do a little whiskey tasting in camp on Saturday, and of course the trail is freaking awesome. My favorite trail up here in the Sierras. So sign up if you haven't yet. It is a great way to experience the Fordyce Creek Trail at Meadow Lake, because they build a freaking city out in the middle of nowhere.
That's right.
And it is a freaking blast.
All sorts of good food. There's hot showers and great entertainment.
Everything.
And there's a bar. I mean, it's great. And of course, great wheeling and great camaraderie.
Yes.
And it's also one of the biggest fundraisers for Cal 4 for the year that helps keep trails open.
Yep. Absolutely.
So sign up and hope to see you there in August.
Yeah.
Second weekend of August, I believe it is. I don't have the dates.
We'll be milling around on Saturday. I don't think we're going to have a booth this year, but we'll be milling around camp, handing out stickers.
We'll have our shirts and hats on. We'll be showing off. So it'll be good.
Yeah.
And then, of course, if you like the show and want to support us, you can go to irate4x4.com and you can sign up there for free, or you can become a supporter of the show in our Barrel Society, and whatever. I mean,
whatever. Help us out.
We love all of our listeners. We appreciate every single one of you, whether you support the show financially or not.
Yeah, we've got expenses, so every little bit helps to keep this thing going. We're over 5 years now, which is insane, and we'll keep doing it. We're having a good time. Keep bringing you the interviews, and keep spouting out our
political beliefs.
Political and Ultra4, take on things. But we're real. We love our campfire talks here, and that's our podcast. So, love it. All right, I think we beat this one up pretty good.
Yes, sir.
You got anything else?
No, sir. I'm done.
I don't either. So with that,
we're out.